Yesterday, Pro Football Focus released their midseason All-Pro team, and Tom Brady was listed as the top quarterback. Heading into the Bucs bye week, the ageless wonder is leading all passers in touchdowns and yards. Shannon, how big of a problem do you have with this?
I have a huge problem with this because Matthew Stafford has been the best quarterback this season. And we saw Stafford beat Tom Brady's team head-to-head. They were blowing them out, and Tom Brady got mop-up touchdowns late in the ball game that made his numbers look good, but they still caught the L by double digits.
432 yards passing.
What was the final score of the game?
Oof.
A whole lot to a few. But anyway, now, Matthew Stafford is number one in QBR, 78 to Tom Brady is in second with 69. And let me explain to the people at home how big a gap this is. The gap between first and second is the same distance as the gap between second and eighth. Let that sink in. Let me repeat that again. Matthew Stafford is in front of Tom Brady by the same distance Tom Brady is in front of the guy that's in eighth place in QBR. He has a higher completion percentage, higher yards per attempt, fewer turnovers, 7-4. Better team record, 7-1 to 6-2. Tom Brady has thrown 70 more passes, yet he only has 173 more yards. And how you come up with a guy that's turned the ball over 7 times, a guy that's turned the ball over 4 times, we have a better record. I have a higher QBR, higher completion percentage, higher yards per attempt, and somehow that guy's outplayed me? How? Under what metric? Even by using your metric. I'm using your metric in which you measure the quarterback, and Stafford is...
Your researcher, Steve, was working overtime last night. That was overtime. You should pay him extra.
And guess what? No, I just didn't have one. I called him my other one. I had another one riding shotgun with me, Ash. I had to call Ash in on this one. I know it did.
Pretty good.
Because I want people to know how bad Matthew Stafford has outplayed Tom Brady thus far. And somehow I'm using the metrics in which Pro Football Focus use. And then by their numbers, it says QBR, completion percentage, yards per attempt, fewer turnovers, better record, all those. And somehow Tom Brady is in front of Matthew Stafford.
Shannon Sharp, I tried to warn you before the season started. He's going to win the MVP at age 44, and we're halfway home, and he is leading the pack.
In what?
He has thrown 25 touchdown passes. That's 3 more than Matthew Stafford has thrown. He is averaging 331 yards passing per game. That's a career high for the 44-year-old.
And a career high pass attempt.
He's going to break all kinds of records. And the key stat, according to Pro Football Focus, is he's still leading the league. He is the best in turnover-worthy play rate at 1.1%. That's better than Matthew Stafford's. I'm sorry, that is the best.
But he has 7 turnovers.
Well, we're just talking about throwing the football.
No. He has, he has 5 interceptions. Matthew Stafford has 4.
Okay. But Matthew Stafford has thrown a bunch more that should or could have been picked off. Well, that's what they're saying.
I mean, you know what, Skip?
Yeah.
It ain't how much money you make, it's how much you keep. So how many did they come down with? That's what turnovers are. It ain't no... How many... I've never seen a stat, touchdown-worthy plays. So when they going to come up with that stat? That was a touchdown-worthy play. Either you did or you didn't. Sports is about wins and losses. Either you made the basket or you didn't. Either you scored the touchdown or you didn't. Either you hit the pitch or you didn't. Ain't no in-between.
So, Pro Football Focus concludes the gap is narrowing, but Tom Brady is still the best quarterback in the league so far.
Based on what?
I called it. I stand by it. Here they come, there they go. You can't stop the onslaught.
But
he's playing the best football of his life at age 44.
That may be true, Skip, but I'm using their metrics. QBR is a stat that they created.
Turnover-worthy plays.
Skip, your guy got 7. My guy got 4.
Okay, we're talking about pass plays.
Okay, your guy has 5 interceptions. My guy has 4 interceptions.
Okay, but your guy probably has 8 more that should have been.
Skip.
It's okay.
You do realize the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have scored 1 more point. If you were to take the 2 defensive touchdowns that they have, 1 more point. We beat you head to head. Not only did we beat you, we took you apart.
We took you apart. 432 yards against your defense. Was the defense still on the field at the end of the game?
Whoa.
Did you have a chance to stop him? You couldn't stop him.
Let me ask you a question. So you threw for all those yards. So how many went for meaningful? How many were you tied or leading the game and you threw for?
Got to break this up, guys. We got a different
That many?
QB to throw in the mix. We'll continue it another day. 49ers legend Joe Montana just took a bold stance about Trey Lance. I'll tell you what he said next. Green Bay will look to start Jordan Love this weekend, as Aaron Rodgers will reportedly be unavailable because of a positive COVID test. This weekend will give the Packers a better chance to evaluate their future with Love, who could be their new franchise QB if Aaron does move on from Green Bay this upcoming offseason. So, Shannon, how will all of this impact Rodgers' future with the Packers?
Well, Skip, I don't think it changes anything right now, because the Packers allowed Aaron Rodgers, knowing that he was unvaccinated, to go about his business as if he was a vaccinated player. So they're complicit in this. It's not like they didn't know, like all of a sudden. They know every player that's vaccinated on their roster. They know every person that's vaccinated within that building, within that organization. They know. So they allowed Aaron Rodgers to do what he was doing, to go about his business as if it was normal. So I don't think it changes anything in the short term. But I've said I felt like this, Skip. What it did do is it give the Packers an advanced look at Jordan Love. Skip, you can say, yeah, practice, he looked good in practice, and yeah, he made some throws. But practice and the game are different. And you've been around guys that you've seen them catch the ball with one hand tied behind their back. And you see guys make plays in practice, and come game time, it's a whole different animal. So now we get an opportunity to see Jordan Love against a team that he's not familiar with. They're not guys that, he walk off the field, hey, man, what you doing tonight? What you got going on?
Yep.
So now he's given them, and the quarterbacks normally try to do everything they possibly can to not let the coaches get an advanced evaluation of a player that's behind them. The last thing I want you to see, Skip, is a guy that could possibly take my position, and he plays well in an actual game.
Yep.
He's allowed this to happen. And so for me, this is what I know about any work, not just professional sports, but any work. They'll tolerate you until they can replace you.
Yep.
So if you're good at something, they'll keep you around. You're in television, the ratings going good. But as soon as they find that next up-and-comer and they believe he can replace you, all of a sudden, your antics are no longer accepted. And that's what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers.
So I think you just said that karma just bit Aaron Rodgers right in the behind.
Skip, he saw what happened with Brett Favre.
Yep.
They tolerated Brett Favre retiring every offseason, Skip, until what? They could replace it with Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
They said, okay, you retired.
So I think you just said that Aaron just lied his way into a very risky, precarious situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I've been told that they do like Jordan Love, but they're not sure what they have in Jordan Love. And Aaron just opened the COVID door for Jordan Love to get his shot.
Right.
And by the way, if Aaron's in the quarterback room without a mask and he becomes infected, then I wasn't sure how Jordan Love dodged being a close contact.
Right.
But apparently they weren't close enough for a close contact, right?
Yeah, I'll let you tell it.
All
I know is what the Broncos, what had happened to them.
Well, remember that quarterback room?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And they were supposed to be spread out, and they weren't.
Yep.
Because when they got the tapes, they saw them all huddled together.
So is Green Bay really going to give up all the tapes? I don't know how that works. Remember Spygate? What happened? I don't know.
Well, the tapes didn't make it back to New York.
Okay.
So we're not going to.
Okay, so the point is now Aaron's at some risk for Jordan Love to go to Kansas City.
Right.
It's a big stage game.
Right. And it's not like they got a dominating defense.
They don't have a dominating defense, but you get to match wits and arm with the great Patrick Mahomes, even though he's been struggling and looks more like a caricature to me of himself. But it's actually a pretty sweet spot for Jordan Love to go in there without huge expectations and see what you got. We got to see a little bit in that debacle of an opener
New Orleans.
At Jacksonville. We got to see him late, and he looked okay. I watched him twice in the preseason. He looks okay.
Right.
He's got a nice arm. He can move a little bit.
Right.
Big kid, bright kid. By all the reports, Aaron actually likes him a lot.
Right.
They've clicked pretty well together.
Right.
Well, now he gets his shot, and he may get 2 shots because he might get that second game, which would be Russell Wilson's return game for Seattle at Green Bay the following Sunday. So that could be on the negative side of the ledger. On the positive side for Aaron is, to your point and mine, the Packers, they covered for him. They were complicit because they catered to his wishes to be homeopathic.
Right.
And even though the league's arbiter, infectious disease doctor, said, no, that doesn't qualify as being vaccinated.
Exactly.
It sounds like the Packers said, well, we'll qualify you internally. We'll let you do whatever you want to do because we're trying to mend our fence with you.
Right.
We're trying to do everything in our power to make it